Every day, millions of people wake up determined to change their lives, only to fall back into the same old patterns. Procrastination creeps in, stress builds up, bad habits take over, and comparison steals their joy. Deep down, they know they're capable of more, but something invisible holds them back. That something isn't the outside world. It isn't luck, circumstances, or even other people. The real battle is happening inside. The doubts, the fears, the distractions that live in our own minds. And until we learn to face those inner struggles, true success will always feel out of reach. But here's the shift. Once you conquer the enemy within, everything changes. Fear turns into confidence. Stress transforms into clarity. Procrastination becomes action. And life begins to move in the direction you've always wanted. This is the central lesson of Win Your Inner Battles by Darius Foroux. In this audiobook summary, you'll discover practical strategies to rise above fear, strengthen your mindset, and create a life of purpose and resilience. These are timeless principles that anyone can apply, whether you want to grow in business, relationships, or simply in the way you think and live every day. Stick around until the end, and if you enjoy this, you'll love the other summaries on this channel, where we cover the world's best books on success, wealth, mindset, productivity, and personal growth. Decide. Every one of us carries some kind of fear deep inside, and whenever we face discomfort or difficulty, that fear awakens. Our body reacts instantly. Our heart beats faster, our palms turn sweaty, and our breath grows short. Fear feels so real in those moments. But to rise above it, we first need to understand how our brain is wired. Only then can we begin to master fear instead of being mastered by it. Success, contrary to what many think, is not just about money. True success is a life rich in love, filled with meaningful experiences, shaped by real connections, and strengthened by the contributions we make to the world. These are the treasures that bring peace of mind, freedom from fear, and the courage to face whatever challenges life throws at us. There was a time when fear served us well. It kept our ancestors alive. But today, fear no longer protects us. It traps us. When obstacles appear, most people retreat instead of confronting them. What they forget is that every time they run, they also run from their dreams. Fear paralyzes the mind. It makes us hesitate so long that we never even start. We all dream of achieving something big. Yet again and again, fear blocks the road. The truth, however, is simple. Your goals are within reach, but only if you confront the fear inside. Freedom comes when you rise above your limits. Greatness isn't reserved for a chosen few. It's a decision. Every life is shaped by choices, and surrendering to fear is simply the wrong one. So today, make a different decision. Choose to defeat fear. Choose to lead instead of follow. Choose to create rather than consume. Choose optimism over negativity. Choose to solve problems instead of complaining about them. Choose to spread joy, not despair. Above all, choose to recognize your own strength and refuse to live under the shadow of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the determination to move forward in spite of it. Replace a life of stress, anxiety, and sorrow with one filled with hope, laughter, and joy. That is where true success lives. Not in the absence of obstacles, but in the act of overcoming them. Michael Jordan once said in his Hall of Fame speech, "Fear is an illusion, and so are limits." He never allowed fear to control him, and that is why he became unstoppable. Our greatest enemy is not failure, but self-doubt. When you doubt your abilities, fear of failure grows stronger. That fear blocks your dreams, making you give up before you even begin. You start worrying about the future, feeling hopeless, believing that you are meant for more, but never daring to chase it. Fear takes many forms. The fear of losing, of being rejected, of being alone. It sneaks into our choices, whispering, "What if you make the wrong decision?" And suddenly even the simplest decisions feel overwhelming. Yet the very vulnerability we try to avoid is what makes real love and lasting relationships possible. You already have unique talents waiting to be discovered. But fear stands guard at the door of your potential, convincing you that you are not ready. It's not a lack of resources that holds you back. It's a lack of confidence. Once you recognize your fear and confront it, the lock opens, and your true potential is free to shine. What makes you afraid? Living in constant fear is like carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders every single day. It doesn't just steal your happiness, it slowly wears down both your body and mind. People who live under the shadow of fear, stress, and anxiety often find themselves trapped in worry, unable to enjoy the present moment. Over time, these negative emotions take a serious toll on health, leaving behind not only unhappiness, but also physical illness. Fear is dangerous because it does more than make us uncomfortable. It robs us of freedom, joy, and opportunity. It becomes the single biggest obstacle to living fully. Think about it. How often do we delay our dreams with excuses, waiting for the perfect time? We tell ourselves we'll start that business someday. We'll leave that toxic relationship when the moment is right. We'll chase our passion later. But that perfect day never comes. What really holds us back is not lack of opportunity, it's fear. In the past, fear was useful. It protected us from real dangers in the wild. But today, the biggest threats are not lions or storms. They are the fears we create inside our own minds. And these fears cause immense suffering. When fear turns into stress, the body releases cortisol, a hormone that, in small doses, is helpful. But when it floods our system constantly, it weakens our immune defenses. Over time, it leaves us vulnerable to illness, fatigue, and even life-threatening conditions like diabetes and heart disease. Science also shows that long-term stress can lead to depression, panic attacks, or bipolar disorder. In short, fear is not just an emotion. It can become poison for the body. We all know the common fears: fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of change or aging, fear of poverty, loneliness, sickness, even death. And then there's the fear of losing the people or things we hold dear. These are universal, but there's something important to understand. Fear comes in two forms. One is fear of external events, things that happen outside of us. The other is fear born inside the mind itself. Every fear begins with a single thought. I won't be able to handle this. That thought alone is powerful enough to imprison us. But imagine if you flip the script. Instead of telling yourself, I can't handle this, what if you began to say, I can handle anything life throws at me? That small shift in belief can change everything. Because fear is not really about the situation. It's about what you believe about yourself. When you trust your own strength, fear starts to lose its grip. You stop seeing it as a protector and start recognizing it as a barrier that you have the power to break through. And when that happens, fear no longer defines you. It becomes fuel for courage. In the next chapter, we'll explore practical tools and strategies that will help you take this mindset even further. Tools to turn your fear, stress, and anxiety into confidence, strength, and unstoppable courage. Take responsibility. Life is not a straight road. It is full of turns we don't always see coming. Sadness, loss, insecurity, even physical challenges, all of these are part of the human journey. Losing someone we love, facing uncertainty at work, or living with a disability can shake us deeply. These events bring stress, anxiety, and pain. But in the end, what truly shapes our lives is not the difficulty itself, but how we respond to it. When hardship comes, you can collapse under its weight, or you can decide to learn from it and grow stronger. Many people fall into the trap of blaming their struggles on lack of money, unfair governments, or poor education. But the truth is, those excuses don't change the reality. What matters is the choice you make in the face of adversity. Fear often tries to make that choice for you, but you are the one in control. Blaming others, no matter how tempting, will never bring positive results. It only keeps you stuck in the same place. The real power lies in taking responsibility and steering your own life. When a problem arises, ask yourself, what can I do to change this? If you've had a disagreement with a colleague, don't let bitterness grow. Look for a solution. Seek understanding. Work toward peace. That's taking responsibility. At the same time, wisdom lies in knowing what you can and cannot change. For instance, if the culture of your workplace is toxic, you may not be able to fix it unless you're in a position of authority. But you always have another option. You can walk away. If your job drains you, instead of quitting in frustration, take a different approach. Create a plan. Learn new skills. Prepare yourself for a better opportunity. Leave not with drama, but with direction. That is the difference between running away and moving forward. Responsibility means choosing your response with clarity and intention. It means refusing to be controlled by fear, excuses, or other people's behavior. The moment you take ownership of your choices, you reclaim your power, and with that power, you can begin shaping life on your own terms. Do not worry about what you cannot control. Every day we face challenges, some small, some overwhelming. The weather ruins our plans. Traffic eats up our time. The global economy shifts. Even world events like terrorism or pandemics shake our sense of security. Yet so often, we waste hours of our precious energy worrying or complaining about things we have absolutely no power to change. Imagine this. You've made a mistake at work. Maybe you sent the wrong email to a client, or perhaps you forgot to fix an important issue. Instantly, your heart races with stress. Thoughts rush in. What if I ruined my career? What if my boss never trusts me again? Some might even look for someone else to blame. But pause for a moment. Instead of spiraling into worry, ask yourself, what can I control right now? What can I do to fix this? And what can I learn from it? That question alone shifts your perspective from panic to power. There's a huge difference between complaining and taking action. Complaining keeps you stuck in the same loop. Action moves you forward. Anxiety is natural when difficulties appear, but remind yourself you can't control everything. You can't control the weather, the economy, or the opinions of other people, but you can control the way you respond. One of the greatest thieves of joy is worrying about what others think of us. The truth is, their opinions hold no real power unless you hand it to them. If you live for their approval, you also live under their judgment. Instead, give weight to your own opinion of yourself. That is where your freedom begins. What you truly control are your desires, your attitudes, your judgments, and your intentions. Those are yours alone, untouched by outside forces. And how do we strengthen that inner world? Through practices like reading, reflecting, writing, and choosing thoughts that shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. The Stoics understood this long ago. They taught that while we cannot control the events of life, we can always control our reactions to them. Failures and mistakes are not the end. They are training grounds. Each challenge we face, if we welcome it, becomes a stepping stone toward growth. To live with this mindset is to practice Stoicism. It means keeping a steady, positive perspective and committing to progress, even if it's just a tiny step forward each day. Because even a 0.01% improvement compounded over time transforms into extraordinary growth. Inconsistency is the true enemy, not failure. So let us free ourselves from the unnecessary stress of trying to control the uncontrollable. Focus instead on your inner strength, your choices, and your progress. That's where peace lives. That's where real power begins. Build confidence with competence. Confidence and competence are like two sides of the same coin. You cannot truly have one without the other. Real confidence isn't just about puffing up your chest and believing in yourself blindly. It's about knowing deep down that you have the skills to face whatever life throws at you. Likewise, skills alone, without the belief to use them, will remain locked away and wasted. Think about it this way. You can attend the best business school in the world and learn everything about management, finance, and leadership. But if you don't have the confidence to step forward and lead, those skills stay buried. On the other hand, self-confidence without skills is equally fragile. It will collapse the moment reality demands competence. True strength is born when skill and confidence work together. This means that to build confidence, you must first build competence. Every time you practice, every time you sharpen a skill, your belief in yourself grows a little stronger. Start small. Practice daily. Test yourself. Track your progress. Notice how far you've come. Each achievement, no matter how minor, adds another layer to your confidence. Step by step, success begins to feel natural, but growth doesn't end with one skill. Once you've mastered something, move on to the next challenge. Learn more, do more, stretch yourself further. The more you learn, the wider your horizons become. And with every new skill, your confidence expands. Confidence is not a destination you arrive at once and for all. It is a journey of continuous improvement. It is built brick by brick on the foundation of effort, practice, and persistence. So never stop learning, never stop practicing, and never stop growing. That's how you build confidence that lasts a lifetime. Start small. It's natural to dream of doing great things. We all want to write that best-selling novel, build a thriving business, or live the life of our biggest ambitions. But here's the truth. Dreams, no matter how big, often stumble if we try to leap too far, too fast. The real secret to success lies not in starting big, but in starting small. Think of it like building muscle. You don't walk into a gym and lift the heaviest weights on day one. You start light, build strength gradually, and over time, your body transforms. Success works the same way. Write a short story before you dream of a novel. Publish a single blog post before you plan to run an entire media company. Build one small website before you imagine creating a digital empire. Small steps create momentum, and momentum makes big dreams possible. Tim Ferriss, in his book The 4-Hour Chef, offers a brilliant example. He says that to truly master cooking, you must focus only on cooking. That means cutting out distractions that drain your energy. Use paper plates if you need to, so you can save your effort for what matters most, improving your craft. The lesson here is simple. Focus only on the core task. Remove the unnecessary. Build one skill at a time. And as you practice, don't be afraid to stumble. Mistakes are not proof of failure. They are stepping stones to mastery. Every small error teaches you something new. Celebrate even the tiniest victories, like keeping your emotions steady in a stressful moment, because those little wins accumulate into something much bigger. Persistence is the real key to success. But persistence doesn't come from overwhelming yourself with massive steps. It comes from starting with what you can handle and building from there. If you try to run a marathon without training, you'll burn out halfway. But if you start small, 1 mile, then 2, then 3, you'll not only finish the race, you'll finish it strong. So start where you are. Take the small step in front of you. That's where discipline is born. That's where mastery begins. And that's how dreams grow into reality. Stop wasting time. For centuries, people have asked the same question. Is life really short? The truth is, life only feels short when we waste it. Seneca, the great Roman philosopher, once said that a life lived with purpose and meaning is not short at all. It is long and full. Think about your own life for a moment. How many hours have you spent with people you don't even like? How many evenings have been lost to empty conversations, meaningless gossip, or endless scrolling through content that adds nothing to your growth? And what about all those social gatherings? Those nights spent in front of a screen, watching shows you barely remember? At the end of your life, those won't matter. You won't recall the plot twists of a TV series or the ending of a movie. What you will remember are the moments that touched your heart, the laughter of friends, the warmth of love, the quiet comfort of being with someone who truly mattered. Those are the treasures that give life its meaning. So, choose to live more thoughtfully. Every day, aim to become a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more compassionate. Share your love generously. Express gratitude even for the small things. The sun for its warmth, a friend for their laughter, or the simple joys that brighten your day. These moments will fill your life with beauty far greater than any material possession ever could. When you're with someone you care about, give them the gift of your full presence. Put away your phone, silence the notifications, and really listen. Every laugh, every story, every joke shared with them becomes a chapter in your book of happiness. And while you nurture your relationships, don't forget to nurture yourself. Make reading a daily habit, just 30 minutes a day. Over a year, that could mean 15 or 20 books, and with them, a wealth of wisdom that can transform the way you see the world. Pair that knowledge with movement. Walk, exercise, go to the gym. Within a year, you'll not only feel the change in your body, but in your spirit too. Start small, but stay consistent. There are no shortcuts, no secret hacks. A rich, meaningful life is built from simple, daily practices. So stop wasting your time on what doesn't matter, and you'll discover that your life becomes not only longer, but fuller, deeper, and far more rewarding than most people ever experience. Say no. Ways to say no. Saying no is one of the most underrated skills in life. Many of us find it almost impossible to refuse requests, invitations, or opportunities, even when they go against our priorities. Why? Because we fear missing out. We fear conflict. We fear disappointing others. And so, we keep saying yes until our schedules overflow, our energy drains, and our lives no longer feel like our own. At work, This habit shows up when we accept tasks that interfere with our real responsibilities. In our personal lives, we say yes to social events we don't want to attend, or to relationships we don't truly desire simply because we fear being alone. But every time we say yes when we want to say no, we trade away our time, our peace, and our power. The first step is to recognize that saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you intentional. It gives you space to live according to your own priorities rather than everyone else's. There are many ways to practice this art. In the beginning, you can start small, using gentle or indirect approaches. For example, if someone invites you for drinks, you might reply, "I'd love to, but I already have something I need to take care of." It's okay to make simple excuses while you build the confidence to say no more directly. The goal is to set boundaries without guilt. Another method is to buy yourself time. When caught off guard by an invitation or request, you don't have to answer immediately. Use phrases like, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you," or "I need to discuss this with my partner first." This pause gives you breathing room to decide if you truly want to commit. Sometimes you may not be able to say no outright, especially in professional settings. In these cases, you can give a conditional yes. If your boss asks for urgent work, you can respond, "I'll complete that report by the end of the day, but then I won't have time to make the client calls. Which task would you like me to prioritize?" This way, you agree while also making your limits clear. And finally, once you've built the habit, embrace the power of a direct no. No excuses, no guilt, just a clear, confident response. Saying no directly shows respect not only for your own time, but also for the other person, because honesty is far better than resentment. Like any skill, this takes practice. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Soon, you'll discover that saying no doesn't make your world smaller. It makes it freer, calmer, and more focused. Remember, boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are the framework that allows you to build a meaningful life. And learning to say no is the first brick in that foundation. You are who you spend time with. Entrepreneur and author Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." It's a simple statement, but a powerful truth. Many successful figures, people like Tim Ferriss, Peter Thiel, even Elon Musk, have echoed this idea, reminding us that the company we keep shapes the people we become. As human beings, we are social creatures. The people around us influence our thoughts, our attitudes, and even our destiny. Surround yourself with negativity, and eventually, it seeps into your own mind. You might start out as an optimist, but spend enough time with pessimists, and slowly their doubts and fears become your own. Think about what happens when you share a new idea. Instead of encouragement, some people immediately ask, "Where will you get the money for that?" Or, "Is that goal even realistic?" Instead of helping you think through solutions, they offer reasons to give up before you even start. This is what negative influence looks like. It doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. Pessimists focus on problems, not possibilities. They constantly ask questions like, "Why does this always happen to me?" But that question never brings progress. It keeps you locked in the same cycle. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine sharing your idea with an optimist. They may not have all the answers, but they'll encourage you to move forward. They'll help you see what's possible. Take the example of Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he auditioned for the role of Conan the Barbarian, the casting director asked if he could ride a horse. Arnold had never ridden one in his life, but instead of admitting defeat, he confidently said, "Yes, Then he went out and learned before filming began. That's what optimism and boldness look like, believing in possibility first, and then figuring out how to make it real. When you surround yourself with people who think like this, their energy fuels your own. Their encouragement gives you courage. Their solutions inspire your creativity. Slowly, you begin to grow into someone stronger, more adaptable, and more determined. So choose carefully. The people you spend time with will either pull you back into fear or push you forward into growth. Comparing ourselves to others. Each of us carries our own story, our unique mix of experiences, talents, and perspectives. Comparing yourself to others is like comparing apples to oranges. They're different by nature, so the comparison is meaningless. And yet we keep falling into this trap. We look at someone else's looks, wealth, or possessions, and suddenly we feel incomplete, as if something is missing from our own lives. Most people measure their worth by external things, salaries, bonuses, cars, houses, or social status. These are what psychologists call extrinsic motivators, the things outside of us that we chase in hopes of feeling fulfilled. But here's the truth. External rewards don't define who you are. At best, they inflate the ego. At worst, they keep you running in circles, always wanting more, never satisfied. Real fulfillment comes from something deeper, intrinsic motivation. This is the fire that burns within you, the drive to do things because they align with your values, your passions, and your purpose. When you live from this place, you stop worrying about what others are achieving. You don't need validation, you don't compete for attention, and you don't fear being different. You simply bring your true self into the world. Fear often holds us back from embracing that uniqueness. We hesitate to stand out because we worry about judgment. But the moment you turn inward and live by your own compass, comparison loses its grip on you. That doesn't mean you should ignore other people entirely. You can observe them, learn from their experiences, and draw inspiration from their journeys. But do it wisely. If you must compare, compare work ethic. Compare discipline. Compare motivation. If someone has something you don't let it discourage you. Let it fuel you. Remember, numbers, like Twitter followers, Instagram likes, or even job titles, do not define a person's true worth. What matters are the values behind your choices. Ask yourself, what principles drive my decisions? What purpose am I serving? When you answer those questions honestly, your path becomes clearer. You were not created to be a copy of anyone else. You're not an orange trying to turn into an apple. You're your own fruit, unique, distinct, and flavored by nature in a way no one else can replicate. Elon Musk may be one of the most influential entrepreneurs alive, but he's not the President of the United States. LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes of all time, but he's not Albert Einstein. Each person shines in their own arena, so embrace your uniqueness. Let your inner motivation guide you, and most importantly, stop seeking universal approval. You don't need the whole world to validate you. Only you can do that. What's your life about? Finding your purpose. For centuries, the question of purpose has haunted philosophers, writers, and explorers alike. What is life really about? Holocaust survivor. Viktor Frankl wrestled with this question while enduring the horrors of Nazi concentration camps. Out of his suffering, he gave the world a powerful book, Man's Search for Meaning, and the psychological theory known as logotherapy. According to Frankl, meaning is not just a luxury, it's a lifeline. Having a personal purpose gives us the strength to survive even the darkest circumstances. Without it, we become hollow, adrift, and vulnerable to despair. In fact, research from Johns Hopkins University revealed that nearly 78% of students believe that finding meaning is essential for a better life. It's no wonder. Without meaning, existence feels empty. Today, with more free time than ever before, many of us waste it in boredom, scrolling, copying others, or losing ourselves in trivial distractions. But purpose isn't found in imitation. Purpose is discovered in action, in reflection, and in living deliberately. Here's the truth. Purpose isn't just a destination you reach someday. It's the journey itself. It's not about being famous or achieving world-changing breakthroughs. For some, purpose might mean building a company or creating art that touches millions. But for others, it could be something quieter, yet no less profound. Raising children with love, guiding young readers to discover books, or writing stories that ignite imagination. You don't have to cure cancer to matter. You just have to find what matters to you. Purpose is not something you're born with. It is something you choose. Ask yourself, who am I? Not what's my job title, not what do I own, but what is my life truly dedicated to? The answer to that question is your compass. Sadly, most people dismiss it as unimportant, and so they drift. If you don't know your purpose yet, start by opening yourself up to new experiences. Read widely. Travel. Meet people different from yourself. Let the unfamiliar stretch your perspective. Exposure plants seeds, and those seeds grow into clarity. But there's something else. Manage your stress. Chronic anxiety clouds the mind and blocks the very insight you need to discover your path. A calm mind is fertile ground for new knowledge and wisdom. And remember this, your purpose is already inside you. It may be buried, it may be quiet, but it is there. Trust that you will uncover it. Celebrate that it exists. Then take action. Explore. Try. Fail. Learn. Adjust. And once you begin walking the path of your purpose, never look back. Because when you find your why, you can endure anyhow. Practice presence and happiness. Happiness is not something we stumble upon by accident. It is something we practice, something we create. And the practice begins in the mind. Every day, our thoughts pull us backward into memories, replaying the highs and the lows of our past. Some memories bring us joy, but others, painful breakups, bitter arguments, or regrets, can trap us in sadness. But here's the truth. The past cannot be changed. What has happened cannot be undone. The only place you can live is here, in this moment. That's why mastering happiness starts with mastering your thoughts. Emotions will always influence your mood, but emotions are not the driver. You are. By choosing to think positively and behave positively, you can shape your emotional state and ultimately the quality of your life. Some people dismiss happiness as a childish goal, something shallow or naive, but in reality, happiness is the foundation of everything. When you are happy, every experience becomes brighter, deeper, and more meaningful. Happiness is not a distraction from life. It is the essence of life. So how do we cultivate it? One way is to shift our focus. When negativity surrounds you, choose to see the good. Even the most difficult moments contain a spark of light if you look for it. After losing someone you love, instead of drowning in sorrow, hold on to the precious memories you shared. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of cursing the delay, listen to music. Or better yet, feed your mind with an audiobook. Another way is acceptance. Life will always bring circumstances beyond your control. Fighting them only deepens your suffering. Acceptance is not defeat. It's wisdom. It means finding what's still good, even in the storm. And finally, make a conscious choice for positivity. Negativity is easy. It requires no effort at all. But positivity is a discipline. It takes patience and courage. Yet when you choose positivity, you transform your reality. Negative thoughts weaken you. Positive thoughts strengthen you. Negativity closes doors. Positivity opens them. With a positive mind, you'll always find a solution, even when the path ahead seems impossible. A positive mindset doesn't just improve your mood. It reduces stress, calms fear, and weakens anxiety. So treat happiness as a skill, something to be learned and practiced every day. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. And in that practice, you'll discover not just fleeting moments of joy, but a way of life that makes everything richer, deeper, and more worthwhile. Enjoy the moment. There is immense power in being fully present. When you live in the now, fear loses its grip. After all, most of our fears are not about this very moment. They're about what might happen tomorrow. Unless you are face to face with real danger, like a lion charging toward you, your fears are almost always future worries, not present realities. And yet, life itself is always unfolding here, right now. Too often, our minds wander backward into regrets or forward into worries. But the past cannot be changed, and the future cannot be lived before it arrives. Dwelling on either steals the beauty of the only time you truly have, the present moment. This is where life happens, and this is where the magic lies. Of course, life brings deadlines, pressures, and anxieties about what's ahead. But even then, the solution is simple. Break problems down into smaller pieces and deal with them one step at a time. Handle what you can in the present. Piece by piece, the weight becomes lighter. When painful events strike, a loss, an argument, a disappointment, the sadness is real. Stress is natural. But remember, what matters is not that the pain exists, but how you respond to it. Do not let one hardship define the entirety of your experience. Eckhart Tolle, in his book The Power of Now, reminds us that much of our stress comes from resisting life, from trying to control things we cannot control. When we fight against reality, frustration grows, anger blinds us, and we begin to blame ourselves. This cycle only deepens the suffering. But here's the truth. You are not powerless. You hold the key to breaking that cycle. Life is not meant to be an endless struggle. It is meant to be lived, enjoyed, and loved. Problems will come, yes, but they don't have to consume you. Accept them, face them, but don't let them overshadow the joy of being alive. Happiness, peace, and clarity are not found in yesterday or tomorrow. They live in this very moment. So breathe deeply, let go of the noise, and embrace life as it unfolds right before your eyes. The 5-step method for setting goals. Goals are powerful. They can strengthen us, but if we're not careful, they can also narrow our focus too much. Still, one thing is clear. Without goals, we drift. Goals act like a compass, giving us direction and purpose. The real value of a goal isn't in the destination itself. It's in the journey. Achieving a goal changes you. It shapes your habits, sharpens your mind, and transforms the way you live each day. The happiness you feel when you reach a goal doesn't last forever, but the person you become along the way, that is lasting. If you want to conquer the doubts and fears within, you need a sense of purpose. A clear goal gives you that. It builds confidence and quiets the anxiety about your future. Without it, purpose remains just an idea floating in your mind. But with goals, your thoughts are transformed into action. A goal is the bridge between intention and reality. And here's the encouraging part. Even if you don't yet know your ultimate purpose in life, setting goals will help you find it. Purpose is discovered through action, not waiting. You don't need to have all the answers. You simply need to begin. So what should you do when defining your goals? Think about your ideal life, your creative freedom, the kind of work that excites you. Let those visions shape the goals you set. Because sitting idle, hoping for good things to fall into your lap, will never be enough. Hope is not a strategy. Commitment is. And yes, this path will test you. You will face rejection, you will fail, and you will doubt yourself. But each setback teaches a lesson. Each difficulty conquered builds resilience. And in the end, the reward is not just in achieving the dream, it's in knowing you endured, you grew, and you triumphed. Now, let's talk about the 5 steps to setting powerful goals. First, be specific. Vague goals are useless. Don't say, I want to be rich. Decide exactly what that means. Don't say, I want to get fit. Instead, set a clear target weight or strength level. Specificity turns a dream into a plan. Second, think big. Don't limit yourself to what feels safe. Big goals stretch you beyond your comfort zone. And when that little voice inside whispers, this is too hard, recognize it for what it is, the voice of fear. Ignore it and move forward. Third, set a deadline. Without a deadline, a goal is just a wish. If you want to move to a new city, put a date on the calendar. If you want to write a book, give yourself a completion date. Deadlines create urgency. They turn intention into commitment. Fourth, decide the price you're willing to pay. Every goal demands sacrifice. If you want to lose weight, you can't eat whatever you want. If you want to start a business, you may have to give up some comfort, time, or even security. Know the price and be prepared to pay it. And fifth, write it down. Put your goals on paper along with a simple action plan. You don't need to map out every detail from the beginning. Just outline the steps you can take right now. It could be as simple as reading 1 book each week. Writing it down makes it real. Follow these 5 steps and your goals will stop being distant dreams. They'll become a living plan, pulling you forward into action. Goals are not just destinations, they are your compass. Set them with clarity. Follow them with courage, and they will guide you through fear into purpose. Types of goals. Goals are not limited to one area of life. To live fully, you must set goals in different areas that together shape the life you truly want. Take financial goals, for example. If you want to live a certain lifestyle, you must know exactly what it costs. Add up the vacations you want to take, the shopping you enjoy, and the bills you must cover every month. Once you calculate these expenses, you'll know the exact income you need to create your ideal lifestyle. That number becomes your target, and it gives you clarity and focus. Then, there are personal goals. These go deeper than money or success. Personal goals shape your character. They challenge you to align your actions with your values, to live as the person you want to be rather than drifting aimlessly. Knowledge goals are equally important. Growth never stops with formal education. True lifelong learners keep feeding their minds long after school is over. Books, documentaries, podcasts, mentorship, all of these can become tools for your ongoing development. Set a learning goal that carries you through your entire life, because the more you learn, the more you grow. And let's not forget health goals. A strong body and a healthy mind give you the energy to face anything. Without health, even the greatest achievements lose their meaning. As Dr. John Rady explains in his book Spark, regular exercise reduces the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and depression, while strengthening the immune system. Health is not just about looking good, it's about building resilience for every challenge life throws at you. So dream big and dream across every area of your life: financial, personal, intellectual, and physical. When you set goals in all these areas, you begin to transform not just your achievements, but your entire being. Your mind sharpens, your body strengthens, and your life expands in ways you never imagined. Conclusion. First, you learned that defeating fear begins with a firm decision. True success is not about money or recognition. It's about freeing yourself from fear so you can grow and achieve your goals. Second, you discovered that fear is the greatest enemy, both external and internal. By winning the battle within, you not only feel happier, but also protect your health from the stress and anxiety that cause illness. Third, you realize that you are responsible for your choices. Fear may arise, but it is only a reaction. By taking control of your actions, you take back control of your life. Fourth, you understood that you cannot control everything, but you can always improve your skills, your mindset, and your progress. Consistent effort, even in small steps, prepares you to overcome any challenge. Fifth, you learned that building competence creates real confidence. Master one skill, then move on to the next. The more you grow, the stronger you become. Sixth, you saw that steady progress destroys fear and guarantees long-term success. Seventh, you discovered that life only feels short when it is wasted. By investing your time in meaningful experiences and relationships, life becomes fuller and richer. Eighth, you learned the power of saying no. Boundaries give you freedom, protect your energy, and help you focus on what truly matters. Ninth, you realized that who you spend time with shapes who you become. Choose positive people who lift you up and encourage your growth. 10th, you saw that comparing yourself to others is a trap. Every person has their own strengths and weaknesses. Stop copying. Embrace your uniqueness. 11th, you learned that purpose is the compass of life. Books, travel, and new experiences can help reveal it, but the decision to live with purpose is yours alone. 12th, you understood that happiness is not luck, but a skill. By practicing positivity, acceptance, and emotional balance, you can strengthen it daily. 13th, you discovered that the past and future only create fear when you dwell on them. Peace and clarity live in the present moment. And finally, you learned that powerful goals, clear, specific, and written down, turn dreams into reality. Goals are not just wishes. They are your compass to freedom and success. Together, these lessons show that the real victory in life is not over others. It is over yourself. When you win your inner battles, you unlock clarity, confidence, and courage, the keys to living with purpose. Thank you for listening to the summary of Win Your Inner Battles by Darius Foroux. If you found these lessons helpful, make sure to check out the other audiobook summaries here on Audiobook 101, where we bring you the most powerful books on success, wealth, mindset, productivity, and personal growth. Remember, fear fades, but your potential is limitless. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep winning the battles within.